Alrighty, guys. Hey, how is it going? So, a little while since we've talked some actual fishing and kind of had some discussions about what's going on in the fishing industry. But, who knows, too quiet without that music. We need to have a discussion about what the heck's going on, guys. So, here in Michigan, we're getting some changes. We are starting to get that colder swing coming through. And it's got me thinking about some baits, right? It's got me thinking about a few things that we probably should have a discussion about. So I'm going to go ahead and flip screens, and you guys can kind of check out what we're saying here. So one of my favorite things to do in the early October, September, August kind of sections of the year are jerkbaits, right? A lot of guys think about jerkbaits as kind of these colder water things, but here in Michigan, man, if you throw them a little more pace, a little rapider, kind of make them actually move around, then, you know, something like this shadow wrap is really going to nail it. These baits are absolutely phenomenal. I love these things. Had great luck with them. They seem to catch fish, and they seem to actually hook up and stay hooked up, which is which can be a problem, right? If you fish jerkbaits at all, you know these little tiny hooks can be a hard hook to kind of keep in and keep planted. So those jerkbaits, right? I'm throwing stuff like that around something like 8 feet of water, looking for where there's still a little bit warmer trends, so things like rocks, stumps, things like the things that can stay warm. And we're going to see that what we're doing later. We're going to use some of these techniques and we're going to have some of these discussions while we're playing this game actually later. So if that's not working for me, and I need to move a little quicker, there's another bait that I reach for a lot, and it's going to be a Squarebill. So this is a Livingston Squarebill. This is a fantastic Squarebill. I think it runs really well. It gets to about 4 to 6 feet or so with like 8-pound fluorocarbon. It's a good crankbait. Circuit board blip definitely gives it an edge in a lot of ways. Now, the problem you're running into with something like that is going to be a lot of times these things just get hung up, right? Crankbaits get hung up. It's an issue. So, a lot of times, if that's the case, and let's say the bass are up near docks, up in the shallow areas, the spinnerbait definitely becomes my go-to. And a painted blade spinnerbait, for me, from like mid-August all the way through early October, is going to be what I'm going to reach for. I don't know what it is about that painted white blade, especially with white and silver on each side. Worked extremely well for me. Now, if for some reason the fish just are pushed up into pads, or they're up into a little spot that I can't quite get to with a spinnerbait, crankbait, jerkbait, something like that, I'm going to throw a jig. But there's 2 jigs that I'm going to reach for. So the first is a fairly lightweight, small profile dock jig. Basically a swim jig. If that's not quite doing it, I need to go a little bit deeper. Let's say there's warmer water a little bit down in like, I don't know, 10 feet of water, right? Because there's sand and some concrete. Well, something like that Freedom jig is super awesome. That thing lets me really move the bait around. It has freedom of action because, you know, the swing head. And, you know, Berkeley's got him now. Strike King's got him now. So the swing head is definitely coming into its own. But there's one technique that year-round, dude, absolutely, for me, catches them. And I kind of feel weird talking about it. I'll be honest with you guys. It's drop shot. Right? Just drop shot. Little tiny baits. Little 2.5, 3, 4 inches, you know, it's just it's stuff that I throw that it might not be huge, fish biting this thing, but it's going to allow me to actually chase fish and kind of get into a rhythm. If I'm not catching monsters, that rhythm can make a huge difference in the attitude of the day. And I feel like I can go out and just straight up catch fish, right? If I had to go out and just catch fish, throw that drop shot, that power minnow, and I know I can do it. That said, you know, like I said, they might not be huge, but they are fish. And that's what we're after, right? So let's go ahead and take some of these quick discussions that we just had and take it into the game. Let's go ahead and get this rolling. So let's... Yeah, there's been some classic Bassmaster games out, huh? Alright, let's check this out. Alright, so the first turn we have is the College Series event on Toledo Bend. Fairly confident. I think I've played enough of this to have an idea of where the heck I need to go. I'm hoping